we are hopeful that you will find this to be a mutually rewarding time. There are so many sessions to choose from, and we appreciate that you have chosen to patronize this one. Secondly, I would like to register our gratitude to the LEAP for FNSSA Consortium for organizing this Stakeholder Engagement Week. We remember that we had a big kickoff meeting at the FARA Secretariat around the beginning of 2019, where we had a very big participation and engagement of policymakers. Since then, we have had limited interaction as the whole collective of stakeholders in the LEAP for FNSSA. Much of our interactions have been through updates on the implementation. We're therefore glad that we are able to reconnect during this stakeholder engagement week, even though we are doing so virtually. Now, some comments about PAEPARD. Indeed, Monica, you started it off very well. It is something that a partnership that came out in the open after many years of partnership between Africa and Europe. So, like the LEAP for FNSSA, PAEPARD is an African-Europe partnership aimed at harnessing research and innovation to improve food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture. However, PAEPARD is a smaller partnership comprising only 9 partner organizations, although they were mostly networks of many organizations. On the other hand, LEAP for FNSSA comprises 35 organizations. So LEAP for FNSSA is a much larger partnership, which is a good thing, showing some kind of graduation from a smaller PAEPARD to a bigger LEAP for FNSSA. We therefore expect that despite the difference in size, there are numerous valuable lessons that LEAP for FNSSA and the Research and Innovation Platform for FNSSA stand to learn from the 11 years of PAEPARD, noting that PAEPARD is considered to have been a very hugely successful project. PAEPARD set out to facilitate Africa-European partnerships that are equitable, that are balanced. Equitable and balanced in several dimensions. Equitable and balanced between Africa and Europe, so between the two continents. Equitable and balanced between research and research users. And equitable and balanced between public and private organizations. PAEPARD is considered to have been very successful. Part of the success is credited to 2 funding mechanisms, the Competitive Research Fund and the Incentive Fund. It is also, the success is also partly credited to the thorough communication that was employed by the project. PAEPARD was a very visible program in many places that have a research and innovation slant. You would find PAEPARD represented through publications, through other means of communication. These particular successes, as well as the challenges encountered, offer useful lessons for us in the FNSSA platform. So, to conclude these opening remarks, I wish to affirm that just as we did under PAEPARD, FARA and the other African partners are committed to be actively engaged in the creation and implementation of the research and innovation platform for FNSSA that is currently under construction. I conclude by wishing you a very fruitful session. Thank you very much, and over to you, Jonas.
Thank you very much, Monica and Dr. Agre Agumia, for the opening remarks. I'm just going to, I have only 5 minutes to make my presentation, which I'm going to share because I'm not the main speaker today. I prefer those who are in the panel sharing their experience than me. I don't know. Okay, so the topic today is fostering multi-stakeholder engagement for impact in FNSSA, some lessons learned from PAEPARD from 2007 to 2011. Yeah, I'm going to start, I'm focusing on 3 points only. One is the problems that PAEPARD came to address. And 2, it will be about the partnership setup. And lastly, it will be on achievements. So if you can read on this slide, PAEPARD 1, which came before PAEPARD 2, it was there for 18 months, has identified a certain number of problems that you can see on the left of the screen. And PAEPARD 2 came to address those problems. I'm not going to enumerate all these problems and solutions, but just to focus on the 3 last one: research collaboration, no other stakeholder involved, driven by research interests of European partners with African research stakeholders, and dominated by European research organizations. I think these 3 issues, yesterday some questions were posed to Niang when she was making her presentation on Horizon Europe. And PAEPARD was supposed to create inclusive partnerships with non-research stakeholders, meaning pharma organizations, private sector, NGOs, and also to come with a kind of research that is demand-driven from the end users, of course, and also balanced partnerships. The Agre talked about the 3 types of balance we are looking for: a balance between European and African stakeholders, balance between research and non-research, and balance between private and public institutions. Then PAEPARD was set up with this objective of enhanced, more equitable, more demand-driven, mutual beneficial collaboration of Africa and Europe in ARD, with the aim of attaining the MDGs. I have already talked about this kind of equitable partnership. Just to inform you, to let you, just to refresh you that the total amount of funding of PAEPARD was around 14,300 million euro, 14,300,000 euros, and DEVCO was providing 8%, and 20% was coming from partners as own contribution. So having that objective, PAEPARD set up a partnership that was made by European institutions and African organizations, of course, institutions. That's what I'm trying to show. On the left, we have African organizations, PAFO, FANAPAN, and on the right, you have European institutions or organizations. And PAEPARD was having 7 work packages. Each work package, it was led by, when it was led by an African, it was co-led by a European organization. And when it was led by a European organization, it was co-led by an African organization. So it was really a balanced partnership. And that is among factors that contributed to the success of PAEPARD. It was a balanced partnership between Africans and Europe. And when you see, even in terms of management and coordination, this work package was led by FARA and co-led by AgriNatura, both big networks. I'm now going to achievement of PAEPARD. PAEPARD came with what Monica called the user-led process. This one, it came in the second phase of PAEPARD, where farmers' organization established relations with research institute, a kind of dialogue, which was not easy. I think they are going to talk about it, but we managed to establish that relationships, which is still valid today. I think yesterday, the president of PAFO talked about that everlasting relationship between research and farmer organizations due to PAEPARD, and also the capacity building of farmers to go in different organizations and to sit in the board of these regional organizations. The second achievement was this competitive research fund. We realized that without this funding mechanism, we were just talking between us. It was kind of theoretical thinking, but we needed something which was practical to operationalize the partnership between Africa and Europe. We came up with the 2 funding mechanisms, competitive research fund and incentive fund. And the last one is communication and capacity strengthening strategy. I think Agri talked about the communication, which is still going on today. PAEPARD established a communication strategy with different tools that are still used today, and you are still receiving emails on different resources on ARD, different opportunities, events, blogs. All those tools have been much attractive and really attracting the attention of institutions to stay on in this partnership. So those
Jonas,
were the many achievements of PAEPARD.
Above your time, you are coming to
Yes.
10 minutes now. I couldn't warn you because I was unmuted. I could not communicate. But you've overshot.
I'm done. And I think that this achievement and this process of PAEPARD can also inform the platform that LEAP for FNSSA intends to create before it ends. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator.
All right, thank you, Jonas. I'm sorry, I think, Benjamin, let's make this clear. At least when we go for the panel, have the mics of all the panelists to remain open, and the panelists, please unmute yourself if you're not talking. But can you please leave my mic open? Because I'm timing, I need to tell people when their time is almost up, and I don't know how to communicate with you if Thanks. So thank you very much, Jonas, for jogging us through the memory lane to see the things that PAEPARD was able to put on the table. So now we are going to go deeper